some really non-obvious cruise rules that you just need to know about. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, it's come to my attention through talking to some people that are new to cruising and even sometimes reading some of the comments under my videos or watching other people's videos that there are some sort of unwritten rules on cruises. Sometimes there are rules, but they're maybe in the fine print. And there are things that a lot of times experienced cruisers definitely know, but new cruisers wouldn't really know. And even if maybe you've cruised a couple of times, you might not be aware of some of these rules on cruises, or even in terms of some of the potential severity of what could happen if you don't follow these cruise rules. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to share 10, actually 11, I've got a bonus, cruise rules that you really need to know about. Now, before I get started, I do want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, please do give the video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I would love to have you here within the Lifewell Cruise community. Let's get started. So the first rule has to do with boarding time on a cruise ship. So not only on your embarkation day, but even in your cruise ports, when you take a look at the itinerary or the schedule, like when you book your cruise, you might think that you have a longer day in your cruise port than you do, because you always have to be back on board at least 30 minutes before your cruise ship sails away. And on embarkation day, oftentimes, and the cruise line will let you know, but oftentimes the boarding time is as early as 2 hours before your sail away time. So it really is something to note. The time that you see on that itinerary is not actually the time that you need to follow. Make sure that you follow the boarding time. Number 2, this is just super important. Make sure that you do the muster drill. This is absolutely something mandatory. And now that everybody doesn't have their muster drill done all at the same time, it's really important that you schedule your own time to do your muster drill. Now, what I do suggest, because most cruise lines have this done on an app, so you could do this either from your phone or you could do this from your stateroom TV, is maybe, especially if you are doing it from your phone or your iPad, if you're watching that video and going through those steps, is do it like almost as soon as you board. Just get that over with. Go and head down or up to your muster station as well. Just make sure that you get all that settled. And of course, we always want to make sure that we are safe on a cruise. So it is important information to have. And honestly, if you don't go to the muster drill, then they call you down, it delays things. You don't want that. Make sure that you do go to your muster drill or safety briefing. Number 3, make sure that you do turn your phone on airplane mode before sail away. So if you think you might forget before sail away, turn it on airplane mode, well, almost as soon as you do board your cruise. And I can tell you, even if you call your cell phone providers, those phone plans, to my knowledge, there are none that work when you're in international waters. So it can end up being a super big bill for you. Turn that off. Buy the internet plan from the cruise line if you really do need to have internet and you need to get in touch with people through maybe Messenger or check your email or your social media. Definitely do not make any phone calls from your cell phone while you are at sea on your cruise. Now, when you do arrive in the cruise ports, if you do have a plan that covers those cruise ports, you can definitely use your phone then. Number 4, there are definitely dress codes on cruises. Now, even though some cruise lines are more casual and don't technically have dress codes, like Norwegian Cruise Line is a freestyle cruise line, there still is sort of a decorum for how you should dress on a cruise ship, and especially in certain restaurants. Now, some cruise lines definitely have dress codes. They'll say that they have formal nights, or maybe they have a casual dress or a smart casual dress in the dining room some nights. So make sure that you do take a look at that. You can find that on your cruise line websites. Now, something to know, even if you are going on more casual cruise lines, is that pool wear is really frowned upon in the indoor restaurants. And most of the time you won't be allowed into those restaurants if you are wearing pool wear. And in the evening, something to avoid is flip-flops, like those true pool flip-flop, tank tops, shorts. Those are things that most of the time will not be allowed in any of the indoor restaurants. Number 5. Now, this has to do with elevator etiquette. Now, you will know if you saw my video about ridiculous or annoying things that some cruisers do on a cruise. Well, you'll know that this is a bit of a pet peeve for me, but I'm going to tell you what the rule is, or the etiquette is, for elevators on cruise ships. And I think this is everywhere, but on cruise ships, because we're talking about that now. So when you do wait for the elevator on a cruise, make sure to let the people out before you go in, because a lot of times what happens is people try to go in and out at the same time, and that just doesn't work. So the etiquette is people out, then you in. That's the way it works. Number 6. Now this is super important. Don't ever try to go into the crew area. So that area really is off limits to cruise passengers. And I will tell you something else. Don't sleep with the crew. Now, this is more a rule for them than for you, I guess, because they can actually, and they do, get fired for doing this, but I really think it's also a bad idea. So mingle with the passengers and really stay away from romantic relationships with the crew. Number 7. Now, this is a really good cruise rule, and it is that you can order as much cruise food as you like. And of course, this is very different from going to a restaurant at home or even maybe a land vacation somewhere. So when you're in the main dining room or most other restaurants, you can order 2 main dishes if you like. If you're not sure about different appetizers, order more. Order for the table, order half portions. You can really do almost as you like in any of the restaurants. So it's really kind of a pleasure on a cruise. Use that, take advantage, and try different foods that you maybe wouldn't even try if you were at a restaurant at home. Number 8, don't cut in line at the cruise ship buffet. Now, this is something that will definitely kind of annoy the other passengers around you. If you try to cut in line in the buffet, people get really upset about it. Now, I personally really like some of the cruise ships that have stations for the buffet, so you don't have one long line that you have to wait behind people that are taking things that you don't want to take, and you could just pass around them. So that's a little bit my kind of pet peeve. But a lot of cruise ships now do have stations, so that makes things a little bit easier, but people just don't like it when you cut in line. So be aware of it. Don't do that in the cruise ship buffet. Number 9, now if you don't follow this rule, it can result in a fine of up to $500 or more in a cruise port of call. And that is, do not bring any fruits or vegetables off the cruise ship. So while you can often bring dry snacks off a cruise ship, you can bring prepared snacks that are like packaged, you can do that. Most of the time you cannot bring any fruits or any vegetables into the different ports of call. And usually you will see this like on the cruise planner, they will let you know, but even if they don't let you know, just err on the side of caution and do not do this. I can tell you a story of, in Cozumel in particular, there was a couple and they were fined, I believe it was $500 when they were on a Carnival cruise, and they tried to bring like bananas off the cruise ship, like a couple of them just to snack on at the beach. They were really upset about being fined, but you cannot do this. This is not the cruise line's fault. This is really the cruise port of call, that country that is trying to protect their crops from any potential bugs and viruses and that kind of thing. So we have to understand that. Just don't bring any fresh fruit off the cruise. Number 10, now this is a good one. When you get off the cruise port, leave any of your valuable jewelry back on the cruise ship. So leave it in your cabin safe. Now, something in particular, if you're maybe going snorkeling, don't bring your wedding rings when you are snorkeling. So many people have lost their wedding rings when they do this, so you don't want that. As well, if you're going into like a cruise port of call, you don't want to be walking around with like a big diamond ring. Just leave that back on the cruise ship. Be safe rather than sorry. Now, I have one more tip, but before I do that, please let me know if there are any additional cruise rules, whether they're written or unwritten, that you think people should know about. Please let me know in the comments below. And number 11 is that cruise tipping, while it is not mandatory or obligatory on the majority of cruise ships, it really is something that's expected. So you should plan on it, maybe even consider prepaying your cruise tips. Now, I do have another video, I'll leave it right at the end of this one, all about tipping on a cruise ship, how that works, who you might want to tip extra to, all of those things, the questions that you may have. That is all in this video, so definitely check that out next. Now, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.